Hey everyone, it's Doubtful here, and today I'm going to be doing another Overexplain episode covering one of the most broken champions in the game right now, Nunu and Willump. The goal of this video is to show you how I think about my games and what you should be trying to do as Nunu throughout the early, mid, and late game. Now, per user suggestion from my last video, I decided to bring on a guest this episode to help me make sure this video is as useful as possible for everyone. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey, I'm Jared. I am a silver level jungler. I started playing the game a few months ago, and I have been interested in learning Nunu. So this is a good opportunity to pick up some new skills.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for helping me out today and coming on and doing this with me, so appreciate that. So yeah, I'm going to be explaining my thought processes throughout the game to Jared, and if he has any questions about what I'm doing, he's just going to chip in and ask, and yeah, hopefully this will be useful for everyone, and Jared too. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm just going to press play. We are playing Nunu. We're against Gangplank, Lee Sin, Senna, Pike, and Kassadin. And we've got Aatrox, Thresh, Kalista, and Zed on our team. Now, Nunu's a fairly good pick here because he kind of wants, Nunu wants to go in, roll in, Aatrox is trying to go in, Zed's trying to go in, Kalista can go in. So our team comp's actually pretty good here. Their team comp, that Kassadin's a mobile for the first 6 levels, so he's kind of easy to gank. Zed's a mobile, and then so is Senna, though she has her root, which makes it kind of hard to get onto her as Nunu. But, so this game, rune-wise, I guess you can't see my runes from here, can you? Well, I have a guide out for Nunu. I'll link that in the description or something that talks about what runes I normally take, but I took Aftershock and the standard Aftershock runes, sub-runes, and then secondary this game, I decided to go for Triumph plus Tenacity, and
that's pretty different from the standard, right? Because typically it's just what is it, like celerity and water walking?
Yeah, normally I'm going celerity plus water walking to sort of enhance my gank potential. It increases your snowball speed a lot to take those runes. It also just makes you a lot safer in general because just all the extra movement speed. Nunu doesn't have like a dash or anything like that, so he really just walks around everywhere. So the extra movement speed is really nice. But this game, they're pretty much full AD. I mean, they've got the Kassadin, who's obviously going to be a huge AP threat later on in the game, but they've got 1, 2, 3, and then kind of 4 auto attackers here. So Tabai are going to be really useful against that team. And I still wanted the Tenacity for Pike's E, his lunge ability, and then for Senna's root. So I decided to go for the Triumph plus Tenacity route this game. I did think about it a lot. I wasn't really sure which one I wanted to go. So that is what I did this game. Those are the kinds of things I think about when I'm trying to decide my runes.
As far as Aftershock goes, that's just pretty, bread and butter, right? Like you're not gonna.
Yeah, you're always going to be running Aftershock. I mean, you can run Predator, but I wouldn't recommend that to anyone. Aftershock it gives you a lot of extra damage for the burst, a lot of extra survivability, and just all the sub runes are really, really useful. I wouldn't really recommend anyone go Predator.
And then, so before we jump in, like as we're walking to our start, on a team like this, is there any consideration of where you're starting, or are you just going to always start red buff?
That's a good question. I normally these days, I'm going to be honest, I pretty much always start red buff unless there's a specific reason why I would want to be on the other side of the map. So when I say that, I mean if I'm starting red buff, I'm clearing downwards, and these are going to be my 2 gank options here, either mid or bot. If I was to start my blue buff, then I would be clearing up, blue, Gromp, Wolves up to here, and I could go top or mid. Gangplank is gankable, but so are Senna and Kassadin. It's going to bug me that I can't move these because they roll swapped. But yeah, this game I just figured this was the best thing to do. I think this is the most efficient path. Like you clear it much faster, and you usually end up at a really good spot when the Scuttle Crab's starting. So
Yeah, and I feel like the dragon side Scuttle Crab is just a little bit more useful early game, but like that's just how I always wanted to end there.
Yeah,
but
ganking bot lane is if you can get like 2 kills bot lane, I mean, that's going to be more impact than top. Like generally speaking, if you can gank bot lane and you're sure that that works, that's going to be a lot more effective of a game plan than ganking top, because it gives you dragon control, which is really important. And something else that I thought about, and I've never really thought that much about this, but it's actually incredibly important. Being on this side of the map, as opposed to being on this side, gives Nunu and really any jungle champion a lot easier access to this dragon.
Oh, so much easier.
Yeah.
Like, it is miserable to be on the other side.
Yeah, like as Nunu, this is a huge advantage to be on this side of the map, I think. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started here, because somebody's probably wishing this game would get started, I'm sure. But so just starting off, level 1, we're going to be buying Talisman plus Refillable Potion. You're always going to be going this. Talisman is the jungle item you want to buy as you pretty much only go Machete if you have a lot of auto attack resets, or you have an attack speed buff or something like that. Talisman's good for anyone with a lot of AoE spells like Nunu's W or his E. And I do this start here where you walk out and you base, and as you're basing, you drop a ward, because I want to start Sweeper level 1, because that helps me with ganks and whatnot. And this is just basically a free ward that you can get out. It rarely does it ever actually do anything, unless you're actually jungling against like somebody who's looking to level 2 gank, perhaps. Most commonly, that's going to be Jarvan or like Xin Zhao. And in that case, you would want to drop the ward like right around here, basically, because they'll go red and then they'll look to gank mid or something like that. So you can kind of base and drop a ward here and cover for that. But
it's just free, right? So
yeah.
like, there's no point in not doing it.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll go ahead and get started. I start up here. We haven't seen Lee Sin yet, or anyone really, so you don't know where he's starting quite yet. Oh yeah, also Nunu has a really great dance, so you usually probably want to use that here. This is one of the reasons why I love this champion. But yeah, so we're just gonna chill, use that, and go for this red. Using our Q on it when we can. And I don't really kite it here. It's not that big of a deal on Nunu. And if you're getting a melee leash, kiting's kind of weird. Oh yeah, so that's kind of important. I know that my auto attack does like 68 damage, so I let my talisman burn a little bit before I auto it again there, so I don't have to auto it 2 times. Kind of a weird thing. And then I notice I'm pulling the red this way so that I can have time to stack my W up to 5 seconds by the time it gets to this Raptors here. And then I try to just run over these small ones here and hit it. I auto the big one once, then Q it, and then I walk around and try to make sure I'm getting my AoE cleave on my passive on the small Raptors here. Now, while all this is going on, it's kind of hard on Nunu because his clear is a little bit precise, but you should be trying to pay attention to the map, like what's going on in your lanes. If I'm looking at them, I can tell from the mini map that these guys are like right on top of each other, so clearly they're fighting. But it's just something to be aware of. Like, he got really low.
And starting on the side that we did, we would be looking more likely to mid and bottom than paying attention to top.
Yeah, because we are more likely to interfere with these lanes specifically. Yeah.
But you're not really going to do anything level 2 with Nunu ever.
No,
it's more.
Yeah.
It's just more like future thinking.
Yeah, it's good to know what's going on, because the enemy jungler also probably is looking at what's going on, and that can influence his pathing as well. So, but anyways, so we end up burning Pyke's flash there, and they do ping it in the chat, so we know that Pyke has no flash, Senna has no heal. And in case you missed it, I just, as soon as I cleared this, I rolled my ball over here to Wolves, and my W hit the wolf camp, and then I Q'd the big wolf, and then we just end up autoing them to death. You never touch the small wolves. They'll eventually die to the second round of your passive, and I'm still only level 2. It's kind of weird. I don't think you really do this with any other champion, but on Nunu, because Raptors are so easy to take, you just grab them really quickly, sort of on your way to your normal route. So we end up doing 3 camps, we're only level 2.
Yeah, it's just so free. Like, it's just... Nunu seems so fast at those 2 small camps.
Yeah, so it's really just the most efficient thing to do, and you don't gain that much from having your E here for the clear. It doesn't do that much damage, so it's really just not that big of a deal. But I end up not smiting this thing. So I could use my smite here. Notice I haven't used any smite charges yet, but I decided not to because if I was to smite this, I would just be going over here to Gromp, and my Q would just be on cooldown still. So I decided to take a little bit of extra time to kill this blue to give my Q more time to come off of cooldown, so that
I have found myself doing that as well, just because I feel like having the smite ready for the scuttle crab too can be. And Nunu has just such early on has such high output. But there's a lot of junglers you'll go against. You just cannot match Nunu like early on with how much damage you can do between Q and smite. So you steal a lot of scuttle crabs even if they get there first.
Oh yeah.
Like right now we're gonna contest it at 315. But if say we're coming in at like 320 or some 325 for whatever reason, I still feel like we're at an advantage.
Yeah. That's why I always do this path and I completely skip the Krugs because I really want to be at the Scuttle. I put a high priority on the Scuttle Crab. And I really want to make sure I'm here right at 315. So I'm here at 312, which is great. I see that Lee Sin just showed mid. Now this is really important. If I'm to tab here, I can see that Lee Sin has 13 minion kills. Now you get 3 minions for each CS that you take, or sorry, for each camp that you take. Did I say 3? I meant to say 4. Yeah, you get 4 creep score minion kills for each camp that you take, and he's got 13, which means he maybe cleared a ward or he killed a minion or something, but it means he's only taken 3 camps. Now he has his red. I should know that he started bot because his bot lane leashed, I think. I didn't focus on that in the early game, but I'm pretty sure I know that he started his red. And then he has his blue, so I know he did this. And then he's got one other camp, and he's level 3, so I know he did this. So right now, I know that these are the camps that are up. I don't know what he was spending his time doing, because I clearly have 2 camps on him right now, which is a pretty huge lead. But yeah, so that's just free information that we should know literally just by looking at him and tabbing. And if that sort of seems overwhelming to like be able to make that, like don't worry, you'll get there like over time, like you'll be able to like look at that.
But it is so useful just like knowing that Raptors are up right now, because especially depending on where we see Lee go, like his Raptors are so fast to take.
Yeah, exactly.
If we know they're up and we're gonna be over here anyway, and you get that burst of speed from Scuttle Shrine, like it is pretty free.
Yeah, it's very free. It's very useful to have that information because not only does it tell me what options that I have, like maybe stealing his Raptors, but it also tells me what options he has, like maybe he's going to go do his Raptors because they're up, like stuff like that.
Yeah, no, this is the kind of stuff that like I was hoping to get from this, because that is pressing tab and looking at a number is not a high amount of, like, I don't have to spend a lot of time in the practice tool building the skill of pressing tab. Like I can just pick that up in my games.
Yeah, exactly. So they go for this gank mid. Fortunately, it doesn't work. Zed's able to dodge it. Caston's not super great at following up with ganks. He's actually very bad. And Zed has a dash on his W. Now, I didn't show it here, but I did see Caston flash because I looked over at the thing. So I know Caston now has no flash, which is important. And Scuttle Crab is spawning. Lee Sin's right here. Now, fortunately, Nunu is extremely fast at taking the Scuttle Crab. So I use my E. It's important that I don't W here because I want to use my W later. And when I'm talking about using W, using E, I'm talking about CCing the crab so you remove its resistances and you deal more damage to it. So I use my E to break its resistances, and then I just Q smite it and kill it immediately. So that took me like 2 seconds? I don't know.
He couldn't even get there, and he was just at the other side of the...
he walked from like here to here, and it was already gone. It's like 321, and this thing's already dead. And so now we have a full level on top of Lee Sin because we were extremely efficient with our pathing, and he was not. And low elo especially. I mean, this doesn't happen that often in like... This is like a Diamond 1 game. This doesn't happen that often in like high elo. But literally just by being efficient, I mean, you can see like this Lee Sin's at a pretty enormous disadvantage right now. And so that's why I always push people to do this full clear farm, like whatever like he did. I mean, he got a little bit of pressure mid, he got Zed's flash, but he lost his mid laner's flash too. So it's like,
yeah, and just like in these situations, there's just like not a lot to worry about as long as you're cognizant of the map, because like, he certainly can engage, and like just with our passive and ability to slow him, it just yeah, I feel incredibly safe in these
Yeah,
moments.
yeah. So here is an interesting point. This is sort of a decision point that was made here. I basically have two options. I can walk out and leave now. I'm full HP. I believe I still have both charges of my potion.
And what's our gold count at right now?
Um, let's see. People taught me how to do this. We're currently at 739. So we could just base and like buy a chilling smite or something, or we could buy
Sure.
boots plus a ruby crystal, whatever we want to do here. But probably I would go chilling smite plus pink ward if I just wanted to base. Alternatively, I kind of spoiled what I'm about to do, but alternatively, I could try to literally walk. I could try to walk through this guy because I'm level 4. He's level 3. I can pretty much bully him out here. And I could try to walk over and contest this Scuttle Crab. Instead, maybe Lee Sin goes for the Scuttle Crab, or maybe he goes for his Raptors, or maybe he goes for a repeat gank mid. Instead, I decide to go for this bot gank. Now, it's kind of weird because I'm in full vision, but I do know that Senna has no heal, Pike has no summoners, no flash, no ignite. I know Kassadin has no flash. Also, it's Kassadin and a Zed. Zed normally should have priority over Kassadin because Kassadin's sort of a weak laner, and Zed's more of a stronger laner, and Kassadin's usually good into AP matchups, so AD matchups usually counter him. And again, most importantly, I have this full level over Lee Sin, so I decide to force this fight bot lane. Senna's out kind of far. Callista is pretty low, though she does have both of her summoners. This isn't like a surefire thing. I kind of just go for this. And you can not everything can be surefire. Generally, you want to play like safer than not, but sometimes you got to make plays.
And I feel like you like with the ability of knowing that like you're a whole level up on Lee Sin right now,
Mm-hmm.
and you have that Scuttle Shine. This is going to be a pretty fast play.
Yeah. So that was the big thing, was that I was a full level over Lee Sin, and I wanted to abuse that advantage that I had over him. So
And speaking, okay, so Lee Sin, like this is where my like me being a newer player, like how quickly can Lee Sin take the opposite Scuttle? Like,
um,
does he do a fast Scuttle
it's
early
not
on?
that fast because he doesn't have a CC ability.
Okay.
So his is a little bit slower.
But that would be like even taking Scuttle here for him, if that's where he decided to go, it's still like he's falling further behind. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
have a lot of good options to catch up to you
Yeah,
fast right
no, he
now.
does not. He has put himself at a big disadvantage, and a lot of that has to do with thankfully Zed dodging his gank. But again, it's a Kassadin, so that gank wasn't that likely to ever work.
Sure.
Yeah, honestly, I've watched what this Lee Sin did this game, because I've previewed this game a little bit, and he ended up like doing this weird invade into my red, which doesn't make any sense because he should know that I started topside and there was nothing for him to do here. So he actually literally just kind of walked around and wasted his time, and that's why he's so far behind. Usually, that's probably not going to happen in your games, but honestly, junglers are very, very inefficient with their paths anywhere below like diamond. So
Well, let's see how this game goes.
yeah, so we have no idea how this is going to go. We're just kind of hoping for the best. We don't know where Pike's at, but yeah, we'll just go ahead and get started. I roll in and happen to hit the Pike trying to walk over here, and I'm just beating down on him with my, I'm going to slow this down a little bit. So fortunately, this honestly probably should have gone bad for us. I don't even know how this guy got this low this quickly, but if Lee Sin goes for this Thresh instead, like this play is probably done and Thresh just dies. So I didn't say this yet, but I will say that I actually made a lot of mistakes this game, and you're going to see them as we go on throughout the video, but this may have been one of them. This play actually ends up working out for us, but I think if they play this better, this probably goes bad for us. And I think ultimately it's because there's this huge minion wave here, and their bot lane actually has pressure, that this was just a bad play to go for. But we'll go ahead and keep watching. I missed my first E here, so there's sort of two things going on.
It's like pretty brutal too that they're both level 3 and ours are both level 2.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Like ultimately this was probably a bad call for me. And I think, yeah, that's a really good point, that they have level 3, we only have level 2. Like, my 1 level advantage over Lee Sin doesn't really matter to their effectively 2 level advantage in the bot lane. And getting that third ability is really important. Like, level 3 is a very important level, as opposed to like 3 to 4 is a little bit less important. Also, I'm playing Nunu. Like, there's only so much you can do as Nunu. Like that one level advantage, it's just a little bit tankier, a little bit more damage on your Q and whatnot.
Yeah, and like what I've noticed too is when you're doing a gank with Nunu, like the best thing that you're offering is you're just gumming up the ground and you're slowing them and you're relying on your team to finish off the job
Yeah,
typically.
pretty much. Fortunately, the spike doesn't have flash. We land the root and we just kind of beat him to death and eat him. So we've got this lead now. Caston was able to rotate first. I'm not sure if Zed wasn't paying attention or what here, but Caston does rotate first. And now Lee Sin's coming over. I maybe should have flashed that root, but we keep fighting. I end up flashing Lee Sin's Q when I thought he was going to throw his Q. Fortunately, he did throw it there. Like, if he had landed that Q, I probably would have died here. So, like, more examples of how if this just went a little bit worse, if they played it a little bit better, they could have probably won. I end up dodging another Lee Sin Q here that he was probably shooting for me. Then these guys keep fighting, so I cast a W to get over here. The play ends. I try to curve it over to get this Lee Sin, and then the play's done. So now I'm thinking that I want to go for this Kassadin. I know that there's a ward here, so I come up and I sweep this ward. And then I try to... I'm thinking in my mind that I want to kill this Kassadin, but Zed's pushing the wave. I should have paid more attention to the wave. I end up wasting a lot of time here going for this Kassadin kill. Because, you know, clearly now, like, looking at it, Zed's pushing the wave. This isn't going to work. What I should have done was maybe go for these Raptors here. Though it's possible that when Lee Sin backed off, he went and did this. But yeah, so that's just another instance of me sort of wasting time by misreading the map, like what's going to happen. I should have been able to tell by like where the minion wave was and what Zed was doing that gank wasn't going to work. But I had this idea in my head that I wanted to do this, and then I just did it. Yeah.
That happens to me sometimes too. Like where I will, because I saw you pump back because you want to get that speed boost from the shrine.
Yes.
And then sometimes when that happens, that can be the difference in if a play goes off or not. Like that wave got pushed, he drops back, but you've already started your W.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So then also all that time wasted, I end up losing the Scuttle Crab to Lee Sin, who's still only level 3 because he's only done 4 camps now. But yeah, so basically I just didn't really accomplish anything for the last like 40 seconds, which is pretty unfortunate. I have a lot of gold in my inventory, but I always do my Raptors if I can, because again, you do them very, very quickly as Nunu. So we'll go ahead and do these really quickly, and then I want to say that I base after this. I've got 1,500 gold, and I end up buying, with that 1,500 gold, Bammies plus boots. Boots are more efficient than, are better than like a machete here, because I don't really need the damage from the machete to clear my camps. And yeah, boots, movement speed is really good on you, because again, you don't have a gap closer or anything like that, and it also increases your W speed. So right now, when I base, this is what I'm thinking. I know that Dragon is up, and I know that I want to take Dragon. I know Lee Sin was just topside, but I really want to get level 5 before I go for the Dragon. That's sort of what I always try to do, is be level 5 before I do Dragon. Getting that level 3 in your queue makes you take the Dragon a lot faster. It's possible that when they shove that wave, because another important thing about Dragon is thinking about where your waves are at. And right now, we do have mid pressure, and we kind of have bot pressure too. We do have bot pressure because the wave is like... Do you know what I mean when I say pressure?
I do,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so because the wave is here, they're standing back here, we're standing up here, so they can easily rotate to this a lot less easily than they could. And that's essentially what it is. So I know I've got mid pressure.
Especially for me, I feel like that not paying attention to like the lane priority and the lane pressure, that can really be a trap for me, because I know Nunu is so objective oriented, and like I'm like, okay, I'm level 5, I have smite, and I'm like ready to go, and sometimes I'll like rush into a dragon that I shouldn't be rushing to.
Yeah, there are sort of things that need to be in place in order for you to do it, and that's maybe having lane pressure. Now sometimes you can maybe sneak one without lane pressure, but that's maybe a more nuanced thing that we don't really want to go into here. But it's possible I should have tried to do this level 4, or honestly, what I maybe should have done was type in chat exactly what I wanted to do. I want to do Gromp, Wolves, hit level 5, then do Infernal. And the reason I say that is because Zed base at a pretty unfortunate time for me, because now I'm here on Dragon, and now, you know, they have mid priority, because Zed's not in lane. So anyways, let me actually back up 1 second. So when I start Dragon, I bought this pink ward so I could drop this in the pit so I can know whether or not they had vision of me on it. And also, I have 2 smite charges available right now. I guess you can't see it in here, but I have 2 smite charges available. So I smite this right away so that I can kill this as fast as possible. Because I know I'm not in an amazing spot to do Dragon right now. I know that my bot doesn't have that great of priority, and is he getting... Oh, wow. He's only level 3 and he's getting Gangplank ulted. That's unfortunate. But yeah, I know that Caston has mid priority. I can sort of see what's happening bot here. So I know I just want to do this as fast as possible. So I use my first smite charge immediately because I know the second one will be up by the time Dragon's low again, and I can just double smite this thing. So my bot ends up getting ganked by the Lee Sin. He grabs the double kill, sort of putting him back in the game because he was pretty far behind. And but we get the dragon, which is really important. Me taking the dragon here is huge because if I hadn't taken the dragon here, they would have taken the dragon, right? They just got a double kill bot lane. They would just walk over and take the dragon. So very, very important that I was able to get that when I did. And that's why you always want to look for those. So let's back up one more time. So I just took the dragon.
Blue team double kill.
And I'm looking mid. I see that Caston is chunked here, and I know he just used his ult. So I go for this kill on mid. And I'm able to curve it, so we hit him here. And that's just a pretty free kill.
One thing I've noticed too with like you going like most likely like you just cleared Gromp, you finished Dragon, you know bot side's done, so if you're gonna go through the river anyway, you might as well just like fish for the, as long as you don't push too hard into and like make a mistake, it's like pretty free to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Just and that's the word I like to use too, is just fishing for it, because like it costs me nothing to do this. If he say keeps walking backwards there instead of walking back forward to queue that minion, then I just roll on my way and I go and take my red or something, right?
Oh yeah, and it literally increases your speed.
Yeah.
So like you kind of want to be doing it.
Yeah, exactly. So we take that, and then I think I go into... I know that Lee Sin was just bot side, so actually I walk into here to try to take advantage of the fact that I just killed his mid laner and to counter jungle some of his camps here. This Grump just respawned, so I go for this. Lee Sin could have based and be coming up here, so I recognize that this is a bit risky. I also don't have flash or anything, but I know I'm a lot stronger than... Or I think I'm a lot stronger than Lee Sin. This honestly was a little bit risky, and you know maybe the better play would have been to just clear my top side, but I decided to greed it. So you can see that Lee Sin's pinging assist right now. There's actually a pink ward in this bush. I can actually show you guys. Yeah, so there's a pink ward in this bush. Lee Sin's actually bot doing his red. You know what? This is why I thought I could do this, because his red was up, and I knew his red was up, and that's actually why I felt more comfortable doing this.
And you knew his red was up because you knew he started red.
And my red was up.
Red was up. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
So that's why I figured Lee Sin would be down here doing his red buff. And fortunately, I was correct, though there was a random pink in here that I wasn't expecting. And you'll notice I see Kassadin leave these minions and come here. So I know that Kassadin's coming to kill me. I'm waiting for my Q to come off cooldown. I'm kind of stalling. I don't know where Gangplank's at. This is honestly, again, a little bit greedy of me, but my smite's coming up too. So I know that if I am to get into trouble, I have my smite that I can use to like smite either this or this to get extra HP, and my Q is coming up too. So I agreed that and take it, fortunately. But I'm not able to get the Scuttle Crab because of this, which is unfortunate because, again, I put a lot of high priority on Scuttle Crab. But I still don't know where Gangplank is. I think he walked the long way around, actually, because I was kind of expecting him to cut me off here, but he never did. But yeah, so I'm level 6 now, and we end up in this sort of awkward... Well, I guess we're not in it yet. I'm just walking over here doing my Raptors as Nunu does. I use my W. A point blank W is actually fine to do because it triggers your Bammy Cinder. Do you know about this? That if you CC something, Bammy Cinder does like an AoE burn. Okay,
Yes.
yeah. So I use my W to trigger the AoE burn, and I just clear these up. And then I want to say a fight happens here. I guess it doesn't happen yet. So I'm just taking my red. I take it this way in case Lee Sin saw me really low, and he probably knows I want to do my red. So I kind of kite it this way in case Lee Sin tries to pull some shenanigans over here.
Is there any? Are we thinking about circling back to Scuttle Crab at all here? Like,
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm trying to get healthy so I can look to grab the Scuttle Crab again. I can see that it's still there. Lee Sin hasn't taken it yet. So I'm going to Q this, and I smite it too to make sure I'm almost full HP here. And now I see Lee Sin on this, and I definitely want to fight this. He's level 5, I'm level 6. That's a huge power advantage for me. So yeah, so we just cast my W and start heading in here looking for the Lee Sin. Now, it is a little weird because they have mid and top pressure, but I'm so strong and tanky that I kind of think I can do it anyways. Oh, also the whole fact that I can just immediately take this with my Q. And it's free. Now I'm level 7 to his level 5, which is just me being really efficient with my time and whatnot. And him looking for ganks more.
And what's so wild is, like, just even, like, bouts of efficiency and time goes such a long way, because we did waste about 40 seconds this game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I could have, like, 2 more camps than I do right now, probably. But, yeah, so this guy starts rotating over. I know Gangplank's rotating over. So I actually step over here to grab this Scuttle Shrine move speed. And then I go, I E Cassidon so I can get a double root. But Lee Sin actually jumps away from me, which was a little bit weird. I have like no HP right now, but I do have my Q and my R. Your R gives you a shield. A lot of people, by the way, don't know that your ult gives you a shield. And when I say a lot of people, I mean like the enemy team. They either don't know or they don't play around it. So it's important that you know that you have that sort of advantage there. Aatrox is going in. This is like perfect for me, exactly what I want. So I can W in. I have the Scuttle Shrine, which speeds me up a bit, and we're able to get to this Lee Sin, knock him up, and eat him. And then it gets a little bit close because Gangplank had a barrel sitting in this bush that he was able to hit us with, but I have my R that I was saving, and we just go in. So we get the double kill, and then do I grab Herald? No, that's probably too crazy. Oh yeah, I was thinking here. So after this play, I was thinking, I W here because I thought maybe this wave was going to crash and I needed to clear it. But as I get close, I see that it's not actually going to crash. It's actually in a fantastic spot for Zed. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So this wave is not going to crash into the turret and reset. So he's not going to miss all these minions. This is actually very perfect. I do have a lot of gold right now, 2,400, but I decide to really quickly clear my bot side camps. I decide to, instead of throwing my W there and clearing those minions, I roll it down here to Wolves, and we take this really quickly, and then both of these camps are up, so I decide to take them too. Nunu does camps, honestly, pretty quickly, so I feel okay doing this. I know right now that I want to be doing Herald, but I just want to get as strong as possible before I go to Herald. So I usually do this weird thing where I do this at the same time. I don't know for a fact that this saves time, but I'm pretty sure it does. You've got like a lot of AoE as Nunu between your passive autos and your E and your W, your Sunfire Burn.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about health too much here, so
yeah.
I feel like even you're just getting a little bit of speed.
Yeah, I'm going to reset anyway, so maybe I save myself a couple seconds by doing that. Unfortunately, Zed dies here, I think. But yeah, we reset, and then I have a ton of gold to buy, so we can talk about what I decided to buy here really quickly. I finished my Cinder Hulk, kind of obviously, and then I go for the Ninja Tabai, like I was talking about before, how I wanted to build. And then I think I'm going to go Deadman's this game, because I think I just want to be a super tank. So I go for the Ruby Crystal plus Cloth Armor. And then I've got a pink ward too. You always kind of want to buy a pink ward if you can. But that's pretty much it. Again, I cleared my bot side, so Lee Sin can't take any of these camps, and I can just, with a clear conscience, go up here and take this Scuttle Crab. Unfortunately, my bot lane gets 4-mans here. I'm not sure if there's anything I could have done to prevent that. Maybe it pinging, it's possible. I don't know. I was sort of thinking in my head that I don't know. That surprised me that they died there, and it was unfortunate. And that's kind of when I realized, like, wow, this game's actually going to be hard, isn't it? Because it feels like this game's going really well for me, but we're actually down 1 kill. We're up 500 gold, but we're actually down 1 kill. And yeah, that's sort of the moment where I first got worried about the game. But yeah, I'm just over here taking the Scuttle Crab really quickly. Now, I knew that Caston was bot, and I see that we have this big wave here, and this is already almost done. So I actually make a pretty bad play here, because for some reason, I think Caston's still bot. Really, I like see all these people down here, and I'm like, oh, Caston's still bot, which is really bad. We can actually see him here now, but I use my W early, and I drop this, which isn't really how you want to use your Herald. Also, for some reason, I think that Zed has his R. So I'm thinking, okay, he just R'd in. We can kill this guy. I have my ult and everything, right? Zed was not on the same game plan. He was not prepared to fight the cast in there. He had walked back all the way back, and he doesn't have his ult. He doesn't have his ignite. So this was just me forcing this play a bit too hard. And unfortunately, I get minion blocked here, and I can't land my E. Like, this wave of melee minions here forces me to walk around them, and I don't land the root of my E. So I end up just having to flash out and looking pretty dumb. We don't end up getting the turret. So wasn't the best Herald play, and I also wasted my flash pretty bad. But yeah, we all make mistakes. It's important to know, like, that. So that's what was going through my head. You kind of get what I was trying to do.
Sure, absolutely.
But it just didn't work out because I was just kind of lazy, and I saw all those people bot, and I was like, oh, Caston's bot, I can do this. But I could not. Now, fortunately, Dragon is spawning, but all my camps are spawning, and I can heal off of my camps. Especially Scuttle Crab, I can heal a lot off of that. So even though I got super low there, the power of Nunu, we just heal right up back to full health. They trade 1-for-1 bot lane, and I just go for the dragon. Again, power of Nunu, I don't have to worry about Lee Sin potentially stealing this, or me getting low during the dragon. Actually, weird. They start dragon, which is strange. It doesn't really make much sense, because I think they know I'm here. Maybe they don't know no, they know I'm here because I just took this. I don't know what they're thinking, to be honest with you. Oh, that's annoying. But we have mid pressure too, so obviously I just kind of like walk up and take the dragon in front of them. Now, if I'm playing like Rek'Sai or somebody without a really good execute, I might be worried here that Lee Sin's going to steal it, but as Nunu, that's just not really a thing. So we grab the dragon. That's the second dragon for us here. And yeah, we just fight, beat people down.
One thing that I've started to learn is how often it is not worth dying over a dragon for.
Yes.
And like, this was a huge swing for you guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We got.
They in the dragon, they just absolutely should not have engaged.
Yeah, and now we're up like 2K.
And like being on red side with, so just like the position we talked about earlier, and then the fact that you guys had the Scuttle Shrine. Like, you're just at such an advantage coming out of that dragon fight.
But then you'll see, we pushed we agreed really hard trying to kill the Senna. And it's absolutely my own fault too. I wanted to get the Senna kill really badly for whatever reason, and there's too much time. Pyke has respawned, and we end up feeding a lot of gold back over to them. So Pyke, when Pyke R kills somebody, that's that X thing. I don't know if you've seen him before or not, but he gives a kill goal to both champions, like both whoever got the assist and himself. So see, they get a lot of gold from that. So we were just up 2K, and now it's the gold's even again. And then I also end up dying here too.
So I saw something there, and I think this is like, especially for anyone new to learning Nunu, how important this is. Like when you're in those fights and you can like eat a minion, so you can Q a minion, and you gain so much health.
Oh
from that.
yeah. You heal more from eating camps or minions than you do from people. So a lot of the time there, earlier, you'll see me like looking around for minions to eat. I'm constantly doing that to try to get healed up as much as I can.
And Nunu is so tanky, and like when you're running away, the ability to like run through a camp and just take a bite out of a camp and keep going is incredibly useful.
Yes, absolutely. And here, I remember specifically when I died here, our Aatrox said 2 minutes, as in we're going to forfeit at 15 after that play. And after that, I immediately muted him, and I just typed in chat focus. I feel like that's like a really easy, not offensive word that you can just drop to like, I don't know, saying like we can win. I don't know, something about that I feel like sometimes annoys people. So that's usually how I approach it. I just say focus, so people will maybe trigger something, and then like
One of the things that I catch myself saying in those moments is like close game.
Yeah, I could see
Like
somebody taking that sarcastically.
I guess you're right, like the cynical side of people,
Yeah.
but like this game is really close
Yeah,
still.
yeah. I end up saying, I think I typed in chat, maybe not right there, but at some point I say we win off of dragons. We've got 2 dragons. It's only 13 minutes in the game, so we have a pretty early dragon stall. But yeah, notice we are actually down 2k now. Oh, so this was something really, really bad that I did. This was a huge mistake I made this game. I was going to use my W and just farm my top side, but then I saw them mid here, and I saw this wave, so I thought maybe I would go for them instead. My W ends up getting caught on the wall, so I don't get to W them under my turret. And I tried to, like, sort of beat this Kassadin, but Kassadin's Q gives him a magic shield, and he also takes reduced magic damage. So, and he also has a catalyst, which sort of heals him, and Lee Sin can shield him. So, like, I end up doing this really stupid fight where, like, I think I can kill him, but I just can't. Like, I saw him take that, and I was like, oh, maybe I can kill this guy. But, yeah, I actually just hard int here, and it actually isn't even that close. Oh, yeah, and then he starts pinging me a lot, so I mute his pings as well. But yeah, so that's just an example of me doing something really dumb. And then, actually, their Lee Sin, like, typed LOL in all chat after that. And then it took a lot of self-restraint, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to keep playing. And take my own advice, and I just focus. So I don't say anything. I mute Zed's pings. I know we can still win this game, and yeah.
I don't think it can be said enough, by the way, how big of a power spike there is in like the mute all function.
Oh yeah, it's incredibly powerful. It's like the most OP thing in the game. And people just like don't always take advantage of it. But yeah, super, super important. Mute all. Nothing quite like it. So yeah, that death was really bad, but we go back to our game plan. We're farming. There's no objectives up right now, so really all we can do is farm. I wanted to take my red, but Lee Sin stole it. So then I'm looking for this top gank. Gangplank's sort of out of position here, so we roll it down over to him. Unfortunately, Aatrox misses his root ability, or his chain ability, so I have to back off here. And nothing else comes from that play. I don't know why I walked back there. Wasted a little bit of time. Oh, yeah, I get caught and die here too, don't I? Yeah, so I get caught again. So this is my 3rd death in a row now. Oh, I almost get out, but I get cut off by Kassadin here. I do get Gangplank's flash there, but yeah, so why did I die here? We probably should talk about that. So this was clearly another mistake here, walking through this bush. I guess I didn't respect, yeah, they were just sitting on there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't respect the fact that they could be there. This was too dangerous of a way to walk. I didn't know where Lee Sin and Pyke were, so I should have walked the long way around. But yeah, this ended up being another mistake for me. Just not playing safe enough, not respecting the enemy team, thinking that maybe I'm like really tanky and I can just do this, but...
And we don't even have, like, we don't have dead mans yet.
Yeah, so, and this reminds me, at some point here, I think after we died here, so originally I told you my game plan was to build dead mans, but after I died here, I was like, I realized that my team, I didn't feel like I could rely on my team. So I decided that I wanted the damage, and I built something that I usually don't build, which is Protobelt. I started building towards Protobelt, which is what these 2 items make. And there were 2 reasons for that. One, because I felt like I wanted damage. I wanted to be able to carry this game a little bit better. And 2, with Protobelt, I can dodge Pyke's hook, his Q there. I can use so what Protobelt does is it shoots out this burst of spells. I don't really know how to describe it, but it shoots out like this sort of AoE ability in front of you. You'll see it later. And it also sort of scoots you forward a little bit, so you can use it to dodge skill shots like Pyke's Q, maybe like a Lee Sin Q. There's different things you can dodge. Mainly the Pyke Q is what I was worried about, because that'll get you killed pretty easily. But yeah, it just gives you that extra bit of damage, and we'll see that sort of come into play later in the game when I get to build it. But so yeah, that whole play, just another bad play, all caused by me being overzealous here and walking when I shouldn't have. So, but again, I think I type in chat something about the dragon still. I'm probably pinging the dragon spawn at some point here, and that's just what I'm thinking this game.
Shut down.
Set gets a shutdown, which is great. Yeah, we're just spam pinging the dragon because it spawns in 25 seconds here. I'm going to run up and do my Gromp really quickly. Just, again, trying to be efficient as possible with my time. Get these levels. I still have a 1-level lead over Lee Sin even after inting those 2 times there. Or 3 times. No, 2 times. And I want to walk up here, secure the Scuttle Crab really quickly. And again, the power of Nunu... well, the power of this side of the map in general, we can just walk up and control this whole zone here. But also, Nunu, I don't have to worry about Lee Sin potentially stealing this dragon. It's pretty much impossible. The only really way he could do it is if he hopped into the pit and he used his ult to kick me out of away from the dragon, and then smited it. But the range of execution there, it's just probably not going to happen for several reasons. But so we again,
we also like. We know that dragons is our win condition at this point, so you really have to go.
Oh
for
yeah,
it.
absolutely. There's no question whether or not we're going for it. Like we also gotta. I think somebody was dead on their team, so yeah, that was 100%. We were always gonna go for that, and that puts us at 3rd dragon, which is extremely crucial. Getting that 3rd dragon, they call it Soul Point. Now, like they're really stressed on the enemy team right now. They know that if we get that 4th dragon, that this game is going to be pretty much unwinnable for them. Ocean Soul in particular is very, very strong.
And I think this is worth pointing out too, how useful being on Soul Point is, because it forces fights.
Yes, yes.
Like, it forces fights that they otherwise wouldn't choose to.
Yeah, exactly. It forces them, they have to do something. Like, the play is on them. We can basically be passive and do nothing and be super defensive, and we will pretty much automatically win the game by virtue of Soul Point. And me getting that first dragon so early is what, like, we're going to have dragon, like, it spawns in 4 minutes. So 22 is when our dragon soul is going to happen, which is super, super early, which is just... Again, power of Nunu, being able to just be level 5 and taking that dragon solo, not needing my teammates for that. I know that Lee Sin's bot, so I go up and I just look for the next objective. I grab this Herald. And then I guess I just want to farm. I don't want to invade because I guess I don't know where the rest of their team's at, and I'm just farming my Krugs. What's my gold looking like? I don't know that I bought the Proto Belt yet. Okay, I did actually manage to buy the Proto Belt on my last base, though we haven't seen it in action yet. I want to say, oh yeah. So I farm my Krugs, and then I'm walking over here. I see this happening here, and I get to a good position right about here to cast my W and roll into here. Again, you kind of have to like just fish for plays like these. Like, it's going to take me like 10 seconds to get here. I don't know what this is going to look like by the time I get here, but I just go for it anyways and hope for the best.
Oh, and another thing, especially, so this is coming from someone who just started picking up Nunu. I mean, I played it for a couple weeks now, but one of the biggest pieces of like useful information that I could give would be go into the practice tool and just practice tight corners with your Ws like this, because you're taking some tight turns here. And if this play works, it's huge. But like, it always feels bad when you pop your snowball on a wall.
Oh yeah.
But just like practicing tight turns in the practice tool was so helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. It is important to note that they are gonna feel. Your W's gonna feel different at different levels and different item breakpoints though. Also, so like if you get boots, get tier 2 boots, your W's gonna feel a little bit different because you're a little bit faster. Maybe you get Dead Man's Plate, and then something that most people probably don't know. I actually didn't know this until very recently when I was reading the Wikia. But the higher level you are, like not the higher level your W is, but just the higher level you are, level 11, the faster your W actually goes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I didn't actually know that until very recently.
And then wouldn't additionally if you were on like when the map changes for the Wind Dragon?
Yes.
When you're jumping W.
Yeah, having this wind circle here, or say it's Mountain Dragon, then there's a giant like rock right here, I think, and
that is super important. Yeah, that can screw you up.
Stuff to know, but yeah. So we just roll for this. We hope for the best. I don't know what's gonna happen here, but fortunately it works out pretty well. And Lee Sin happens to just faceplant right into us here, and we get a perfect like Thresh changed his Q very perfectly, and we get this. I use my Proto Belt to finish him and scoot myself forward so that I then can Chilling Smite Senna to get on top of her. And I flash closer to her so that I can get as big of an R as I possibly can on her. That's sort of a weird thing that might not seem super intuitive, but I use my Chilling Smite. This is why I always take Blue Smite on Nunu, by the way. So I can gap close here, and then I flash so that I can get as big of a duration of an R on her as I can. If I was to just R back here, like she would already be at the edge of it, and she would just be able to walk out. So this is slowing her, and she's trying to get away. She wants to flash over this wall here, but we do manage to kill her. And yeah, so this was all just a good pick that was fortunate for us. Lee Sin faceplant into our W, but we did put ourselves in that position for that to happen. We get the
And like this whole play doesn't happen if you do not W where you.
yeah, exactly.
Because it like that pick on Lee Sin started that entire play.
Yeah, me just decide like looking for that opportunity. Basically, just again fishing with your snowball, hoping something happens from it. So we drop the Herald, and we end up taking inhibitor here, I believe, and backing off. And let's see, I think I have a lot of gold now. Oh, I do end up dying here, actually, which is really annoying. I know Scuttle Crab's up here, but I know that they just spawned, and I'm kind of afraid of going to Scuttle Crab because I don't want to get caught and die here, because I know right now, usually when this happens, the enemy team is thinking Baron, because they're thinking, okay, this game's doomed. Even though they're only down by like 1k, they're like, okay, we need to take this Baron in order to win this game. That's sort of the way a lot of people think. Also, they think we're all going to reset here, so maybe they can sneak it. So right now, I'm afraid that they're going to walk up here and maybe look for this Baron. They're going to go for the Scuttle Crab. But then I see Cast and Bot, so I'm like, okay, they decided not to go for that play, so I'm fine to walk up and do this. Which was stupid, because they actually just are all here. And Pike Q is impossible to dodge. I swear to God, it's impossible to dodge this ability. But I think my Proto Belt was actually off cooldown, so I could have dodged it if I was using my brain, but I was not, and we end up dying here again.
And so specifically to that Cassidy being bottom, like he's not typically one that would be split pushing, right?
So he kind of does want to be in a solo lane. So Caston's whole thing, he's kind of like a ticking time bomb. When he hits level 16, he's extremely strong. His R is just very, very powerful. His ultimate ability has a really, really low, like its cooldown becomes very, very low. And so him solo laning is kind of normal. I just thought that as 5, they might go pressure the Baron.
Sure.
But I was wrong, unfortunately. Sometimes you make reads and they don't work out. So then now they're thinking, okay, he's gonna teleport and they're gonna try to do Baron while I'm dead. This is my worst nightmare, what I was afraid of happening. I should not have, very, very greedy for me to go for the Scuttle Crab.
But alternatively, what would the play?
It would have just been to base, honestly, because I can base and get back here. If they do decide to pressure Dragon, or Baron, sorry, I can base and then just come back out on the map before they can take it.
And you're not giving them the information that you're not there to potentially be able to.
Yeah, true. They would have no reason to know that for sure that I'm like in the base and that they can just take it. But so again, made a lot of mistakes this game, but still you can see that I've been me playing Nunu has been a big part of our win condition this game. We've gotten both Heralds, 3 Dragons so far. Sometimes, actually, almost every single time was right in front of the enemy team's face. That's just sort of the power of Nunu. But I'm spawning now, and I cast. Oh, looks like I have my W. Is this a bug? Weird.
One of the things that, like, just from other conversations I had with you about League and early on, like learning, like not to have that all-in thinking, where it's like you're not just having a good game or a bad game. Like you can have bad parts of a game and still, especially with someone like Nunu, like you can still objective control.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So,
yeah. So I cast my W about right here. I don't know why this other snowball is like sticking to me on this map. It looks really weird. This was kind of weird. So I end up getting, there's like a term for this, but it's when you have 2 different options and you can't decide which one you want to go for.
Analysis paralysis.
Yeah, analysis paralysis. We screw this up pretty hard. I screw this up pretty hard. So I cast my W about, like, I'm sort of watching this. I cast it right here. No, when you cast your W, you can't look away from yourself. So I'm sort of stuck with my camera on me, and I'm looking at the mini-map to try to decide what I want to do. So I see, now I can sort of see what's going on. Originally, I wanted to go for the Senna, but then I see these two first going against the Senna. I'm like, okay, they can take care of the Senna themselves. So then I try to shift gears here and go for the Gangplank instead, because clearly, like, this doesn't look like it's going super well for Aatrox. But then I end up flanking and hitting that wall there, and I try to catch up with my, because I have Dead Man's Plate now, which will give me some more movement speed to catch this Gangplank. But yeah, so Callista ends up dying to the Senna here. Not 100% sure how, but and Gangplank gets away. So we don't get anything there, unfortunately. But Senna decides to keep fighting for some reason. So then, you know, we just W in, get her. I auto this barrel so that he can't hit it. So the way Gangplank works, by the way, I don't know if you played against Gangplank or not, but he drops these barrels that sort of, see how it's got 3 HP right now? Over time, based on his level and his E, this will tick down faster and faster. But like by default, I don't know, it ticks down like every 2 seconds or something. I've got no idea. But so I'm like, so you notice how it's now at 1 HP? So I auto this. So if he hits this barrel, it'll do an AoE explosion. And it gives him a movement speed boost, and it gives him some true damage on his auto attack. So I use my Protobelt to finish off her, and then I hit that barrel and just ult to kill him. But yeah, that was sort of a weird re-engage from Senna. And let's see, Dragon is spawning in 10 seconds. They've got 3 people dead. And yeah, this is just a free Ocean Soul for us at this point. All because we've just been getting these on cooldown when we can. Sometimes the game just work out really great for you and you can take it. You can't always grab these dragons on cooldown, but this game, fortunately, we were able to. It was a bit close.
And it's also going to happen more with Nunu.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. So he tries to do the play. I mean, that's the play. He actually does try to do it here. But the only way... So there's a thing called execute range. Nunu's execute range would be where I can execute Dragon from. My Q does 980 true damage. My Smite does 720. So that's like 16... No, it's like 1700 damage, exactly, that my execute range is. So there's going to be a small range right before the dragon hits 1700 that Lee Sin might try to jump in, kick me out, and then somehow try to get dragon low enough for him to smite it. But it's pretty hard for that to happen. He would have to like W in and then kick me and then use his Q on the dragon. I don't know. It's pretty hard. But we're trying to block his Q right now, by the way, so he can't Q the dragon and then follow his Q and deal more damage and execute it. That's sort of how Lee Sin does his execute. But yeah, Lee Sin Thresh blocks the Q, and then he tries to kick me out so he can get the dragon. And it does get pretty low. I believe he just smited it. He didn't smite it, did he? Maybe he did, I can't tell. But yeah, so we get the Ocean Soul. Long story short, we get the Ocean Soul, and we just killed Lee Sin, so we just head over to Baron, because this is free. And at this point, the game is honestly pretty over. We made a lot of mistakes, mostly revolved around being overconfident in our ability to like walk certain places or tank a certain amount. That's sort of where all our mistakes were, but I think our itemization was pretty good this game. Right now, I make probably sort of a mistake here. Definitely a mistake, actually. And I like did the wrong thing there. But I've got 2200 gold right now. I could base... So my entire team based, or they should have based, whatever. We're going to go end the game. We've got Ocean Soul, we've got Baron. I should just base, and I've got 2200 gold. I think that's how much Locket costs, so I should just be basing and buying Locket here. I actually don't have any MR right now. But for some reason, I think I want to buy a Spirit Visage, because I would get MR, and Spirit Visage works really well with Ocean Soul. But I don't do that. I don't have enough time now to base because my team is all up here. We're pushing. We're trying to end the game. It would be really, really troll for me to base here while my team is all trying to end the game. So instead, I just have to keep fighting with 2.6k gold in my inventory, which is really, really silly. Not what we should have done here. So that was another mistake that I made. Made lots of mistakes in this game, but we did some good stuff too. And now I'm sort of being, again, really cocky here and just sort of playing around with them. Because again, I'm very, very tanky. I'm level 14. We've got Ocean Soul. And I just sort of take up their time here. And my team starts collapsing. This is actually a really bad area for us to fight in because Gangplank's barrel mechanic, he can chain the barrels, so like this barrel can blow up another barrel next to it. And yeah, so this is actually just generally a bad spot for us to fight in because he can chain the barrels like from afar really easily. And you'll see him do that here. He throws a barrel there, and then he throws another barrel right here, and he chains this one, blow up this one, and gets a really good hit onto our carries here. Like actually all 4 of us. But we end up retreating and we're healing up off of Ocean Soul. So it's actually very hard to describe what I'm trying to do here, but I'm just basically going in, trying to be annoying, landing my CC, trying to get a good ult off. I don't have any, like, I don't have a locket or anything, so I don't have to worry about that. I end up fighting this Senna here. I flash over this, which is dumb because she can just walk back through here. Yeah, I mean, that's it. We got all 4 dragons, we got both heralds, the Baron, every objective, and that's just really what you want to be doing as Nunu. I also ended up having the most, not the most damage, but almost the most damage on my team this game, which will sometimes happen on Nunu, especially if you go like Proto Belt, but we were just involved in a lot of fights, so, I mean, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this helped anyone watching trying to figure out what you're supposed to be doing as Nunu, and what you're not supposed to be doing as Nunu, because we also made a lot of mistakes that I think people can probably learn from. But that's pretty much it.
No, yeah, I mean, it was very helpful to me too, and like, you know, I try to watch some of my own video playbacks, and realizing that you can win and still learn a lot from those games.
Oh yeah,
like the mistakes made. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the game's so complicated. You're always making. There's so many mistakes that you can be making even in a winning game. Even all the way up until like being like I played Nunu for like forever. Like I played Nunu for almost 2 years now, and since his rework really. And I'm a challenger player, and I still make tons of mistakes in these games. So there's always something to learn from watching your VOD reviews, as long as you sort of know what to look for. But did you have any other questions, Nunu oriented or otherwise, that you wanted to ask before we end this?
Not really. I think that how much did you like having the Proto Belt in this game?
I thought it was really good. I think I probably got a few kills there that I maybe wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Even having that extra bit of AP, like the 60 AP, gives me more damage on my R and my E and your W. And I think I really think it was one of the times where, like, I sometimes question, like, I know Proto Belt's good, but I also know Proto Belt's good. So it's like, when is one better than the other? And I've wondered that often. And I think this is one of those rare situations where it seems pretty obvious to me that Proto Belt was the good option here, mainly because of dodging the Pike Q. It's so difficult to dodge Pike Q as Nunu because you're such a big champion. And dodging that Q is really, really important. I don't even know if I ever did it this game, but I think it is really, really useful. And the extra damage was good. We got a couple kills that we maybe otherwise wouldn't have, and yeah, I thought it went really well. So that is about it.
Cool. Well, thanks, man.
Yeah. Thanks for hopping on and doing this with me. I appreciate it, and yeah, hopefully it was useful and worth your time.
Absolutely.